But I did peruse NXT briefly again. Very briefly. You know why?
No.
Because Braun Breaker wrestled. Braun Breaker, Braun Rexsteiner, whatever his name is. But also I did see, I don't know what, if they really wanted to run people off from this show, they should just put up a slide that says, F you, we don't like you, and we're mad that you liked the previous show before we took it over, so we're going to fuck it up even worse. And then everybody could just go click at the start instead of having to sit through something to see all the mistakes they were making. But you know what Walter Gunther was doing this week?
No.
Walter Gunther was in a six-man. Obviously, old Marcel Marceau and Fabian Forte, the other members of Imperium, are Walter's stooges. And they've been a tag team also. But now they were in a six-man tag match against the Creed brothers, the two Green Shooter boys, and Roderick Strong, the Diamond Mine. So, I don't know how many things I can say was wrong with this at the same time. Two heel groups in a six-man tag, just cold. Walter in a six-man tag to begin with. Walter in a six-man tag with Green rookies. Yeah, the Creed brothers got a lot of potential. I had a lot of guys in OVW had potential. I wouldn't put them in competitive situations with a guy who should be one of the top 5 guys in the company. Nor would I put a guy who could and should be one of the top 5 guys in the company in six-man tags on national television to begin with, whether the opponents are green or otherwise. They've got a star here. He's got two stooges, just like the Usos or with Reigns. Let them be a team. When's the last time you saw Roman Reigns in a six-man tag at a pay-per-view or on television with the Usos? Walter looked great against Roddy because Roddy's great too. But at the same time, Walter is trying not to just steamroller these guys because they're being used in NXT, and this quagmire is not the way to make a single superstar, which is what he should be doing right now. So that's the way they started the program.
They didn't change the names of the other Imperium guys, right?
No. They're still the same ones that nobody can pronounce or remember. And then after that six-man, the next 45 minutes of this program was all women's wrestling and promos. Women's wrestling and bad promos. And then at the top of the hour, they finally got some guys in there, and it was more of the guys gaga with the green horns. And then after 45 minutes of women's wrestling and 20 minutes of guys gaga, out came the sleepy girl in the pajamas with the sippy cup, Brian. Wendy Choo. Have you seen Wendy Choo yet?
I saw some stuff on Twitter. I haven't watched a full match or anything, or no promos.
Well, I don't think you're going to see a full match, and I don't know if she can stay awake for an entire promo, but do you know? Well, first of all, she wrestles in pink pajamas with the feet in them. She comes out with a sippy cup, and her whole gimmick is that she's sleepy, and she does spots in the match where she goes to sleep. And actually, during her match, so did I, a couple of occasions.
She has narcolepsy? That's her gimmick?
She'll grab the girl's leg and put a leg lock on, and as she's laying the leg, she will go to sleep. She'll just, like she's asleep. Or instead of dropping an elbow or a diving headbutt, she will jump up in the air and put her hands next to her head in the go-to-sleep position and drop the hands and her head on. It's a flying sleepy chop. Yeah, I'm not kidding. And apparently, Wendy Choo is the same girl who, under the previous administration of NXT, They had made the 1,000-year-old mysterious Mei Ying that everybody was scared of behind the fucking kabuki mask and everything. So she went with the changeover. She went from a 1,000-year-old mystical woman warrior in a kabuki mask that everybody was scared shitless over to a narcoleptic child that goes to sleep in her sleepy pajamas and her sippy cup during her matches, because we're trying to appeal now to people that are 5.
It certainly makes you appreciate the AEW women's division a little more when you hear about things like this happening at NXT. How can that be so bad when this is happening?
Oh, it can be, and it is. It's just different levels and flavors of bad. There's still a whiff of taint to everything. But whoever greenlit Wendy Chu should be lit on fire. I will make that declarative statement. So then I said I'm skipping to the only thing worth it, which is the main event. So it was Tommaso Ciampa and Breaksteiner against Pablo Escobar's Stooges. What Walking Wild and Raul Mendoza. Whatever the fuck. With Carmen Electra in the corner. Somebody needs to tell these people that there are more than 2 famous Hispanic females. It's not just Carmen Electra and old fucking Jennifer Lopez. Anyway, Tommaso Ciampa is incredible. Everything he does looks great. He's aggressive as fuck. He's in great shape. And we've mentioned in the past, and I'm still just... I know somebody will probably find some clip of him doing something stupid, but the dedication that he has to his rehab and his physical therapy, he's had a number of major injuries, knees, neck. He's had major surgeries. He's rehabbed them. He works out like a demon. I mean, even back in Ring of Honor, he had a video done of him training, turning over those giant truck tires or tractor tires or whatever and all kinds of shit. He takes this shit seriously, and he takes being Tommaso Ciampa seriously. I love watching his stuff. Steiner, again, I think part of the reason he's this smooth, even though he's a rookie and he's green, is because he's so fucking strong. He hits the ropes as smooth as Steamboat. But then on that, the guy dropped down, and he's got a move where he drops down and just not really front face lock, but kind of front waist locks the guy and just rolls over and just picks the guy up. And in this case, he went down and got him, face locked him, and turned him over and brought the guy up for a vertical suplex. The guy did not even touch the ground. He didn't have to help. He just stood up under him, picked him up. They only had about 3 minutes of match, and they went to the break. And when they came back, it was 9:58 p.m., and I'm like, shit. The DVR sets for a 10-minute or an 8-minute run over, but they didn't give this match a lot of time, and I guess maybe they're trying to, be careful with Steiner, but I think they could give him all the time he needs. Escobar's the one that ran him into the stairs from behind, so they got some heat on him. And the heat drug here, but I don't think it's because of Steiner that he can't sell, because he sells well, but I think it's because the heels were and not really a big threat. And, they had one tag team maneuver where they would tag out. The guy would roll in, run into the corner and blister him with a shoulder tackle or a clothesline or whatever, a tag at the same time, and then the other guy'd roll in. They did it over and over. Points for, originality and trying to be a tag team, but it didn't look that devastating. Finally, the heels set up what had to be the lousiest hot tag that I've ever seen heels set up for a babyface, where they just left Steiner laying several feet in front of fucking Ciampa and didn't try to stop him or anything. So he tags Ciampa, but that was just rotten because it was flat. But Ciampa came in so fired up and made a great comeback. that he got the people. He fired up with them and everything. They hit Champa and Steiner did a double team spine buster, one on each. And then here came Pablo up on the apron and distracted Steiner, who just stood there kind of staring at him. And they stopped him again, but it made him look like an idiot. He did nothing. If the guy's going to jump up, then let Steiner snatch the fucking guy. Like, what are you going to do? And the other guy, boom, from the side wipes him out. But as it was, Steiner was just standing there like a sucker. Anyway, he then fought back again, and then Tommaso came in and cleared the ring. And I swear to God, one of the heels, I think it was Wild. It was Wild. Brian, I wish you'd have seen this because then you'd understand it. I'm not sure that I can describe it properly. But part of the deal was while Steiner was with one of the heels in the ring, what this was supposed to be was that the other heel would jump from the apron to the top rope and was going to like jump off into the ring on Steiner and blindside him, right?
Okay.
But as he jumps to the top rope, what it was supposed to be was Champa sees him and shoves him off the top rope, and he goes off the top outside through the announce desk. That's what it's supposed to be then, right? So the intent, the fans are supposed to think that the guy's jumping up to the top to come off into the ring and get Steiner from behind. And the fans are supposed to think that Champa has seen that, and as the guy gets to the top, he shoves the guy off through the table and prevents it. What happened was, while Steiner's on the guy in the ring, Wild jumps to the top rope and freezes there. He jumps to the top rope, but he's looking out of the ring at the table that he's about to land on. To his more than a 90-degree angle to his right is where his partner's getting beat up, but he's not looking at that. He jumps up and crouches on the top rope and stares ahead for 3 or 4 seconds until Champa comes up from behind him and shoves his ass, and then he leaps off and just does a splash, does like a frog splash, straight through the table. The only way that this would have worked is if somebody that he was trying to attack had been standing in front of the fucking table. But there wasn't anybody on the floor at all. It was just a table. There was nobody in front of it. Everybody else was in the ring behind him. So why was he pointed that way?
Well, this is modern wrestling. No table is safe.
So what a bump. But it was a bump out of nowhere for no reason, at nothing. And in the ring, Steiner hit his press power slam 1, 2, 3. And they still made it out, within a couple minutes of the overrun. So this was like an 8-minute match.
Are you surprised Ciampa's still there?
Well, yeah, because he's the best thing about it. I'm surprised that they haven't fired him along with the rest of the guys that were any good, or that he hasn't seen what's going on and decided, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. But yeah, it's refreshing that he's there. It gives us some other hope, but I don't think the future is bright. He might not need to wear shades, Brian.
Who sang that song? Was it Was Not Was?
No, that was Walk the Dinosaur.
Right, but they had different songs.
The Future's So Bright, I've Got to Wear Shades was Timbuk 3.
That's right.
I thought you were in the music business. What's the matter with you?
We had an assembly in elementary school in like 1988, and they played that song. I don't know what it was supposed to do for us or motivate us to do, but The Future's So Bright, I Got to Wear Shades. And I don't even remember what they said. I just remember the goddamn song from the assembly.
Well, that's what they were telling all the kids, to wear shades because all the kids look so stoned.
Well, some of us are still wearing shades.
There you go. Some of us are still shady. Folks, I'll tell you who's not shady. And that's our friends at rockauto.com. If they're rebuilding NXT from scratch, the problem with what they're doing is they can't find the parts. They don't have quality parts, Brian. they can't replace all the good parts they had that have gone bad. That's why they can't make a good NXT. However, if you're trying to rebuild your car from scratch or just replace one item, well, then the folks at rockauto.com, they can find the right parts, and they can find them cheap, and they can find them to fit your models. You know, all these traditional auto parts stores, they can't carry all the parts for these makes and models, the Framostats and the gazebos and the jingos and all the other things that go into these modern cars now with these computer brains in them. So you're just wasting your time. You got to pay more for each part. You got a lesser selection of parts. You got to talk to some asshole with his name across the pocket of his shirt. None of those things are preferable to going to rockauto.com and saving money. One reason is to repair and maintain your cars is to save money for important things like mortgage and food and extramarital relationships. Why would you want to spend 30%, 50%, 100% or more for the same auto part at a chain store that you could get at rockauto.com, and you could give your little side honey a little trinket on the side there, and everybody would be happy? And chain stores have different price tiers for professional mechanics and for do-it-yourselfers. Did you know about this, Brian? Did you hear about this?
I've been hearing about this. That's a scam.
Yeah, it's a scam. Well, rockauto.com's prices are the same for everybody. If you don't like them, that's your fault. They're the same for everybody, but they're reliably low because they always offer the lowest prices possible rather than charging prices based on what the market will bear, because that would be gouging. And they don't want to do that. They're not gougers. RockAuto.com is a family business. They've been serving auto parts customers for 20 years online. So, folks, they got everything from engine control modules and brake parts to tail lamps, motor oil, crankshafts, all kinds of things. Even possibly marital aids. You never know.
They don't have those. Site. No, we know. They don't have those.
Look through the whole site just to make sure. RockAuto.com, their catalog is unique, easy to navigate, and you can quickly see all the parts that you need. Why spend up to twice as much for the same parts? Go to rockauto.com, get all the parts your car or truck will ever need, and you're going to see a box. And everybody knows anybody that comes out of a box gets over. Well, if you will write JCE in the How Did You Hear About Us box, they'll know that we sent you. They won't give you a discount because these prices are already stupid fucking low. They can't cut nothing, but they'll at least know that you're involved with us. You're hooked up with our social circle. So again, rockauto.com, write JCE in the How Did You Hear About Us box and get 7 crankshafts. You never know when you're going to need them.